Canada tightens immigration enforcement. CBSA steps up actions on unauthorized workers. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. In today's video, we're tackling a critical issue that's having a big impact on Canada's workforce and immigration system: the tightening of immigration enforcement and the crackdown on unauthorized workers. The Canada Border Services Agency has increased its efforts to target individuals working without proper permits and employers who hire them. This enforcement is affecting industries such as agriculture, construction, and hospitality, where the demand for foreign labor is especially high. If you're curious about how this impacts Canada's job market, what legal risks employers are facing, and what measures are being implemented to resolve this issue, you are in the right place. We'll break down the latest actions from Canadian authorities, how businesses are adapting, and what workers can do to stay compliant. Stay tuned until the end, as we'll also dive into how Canada's immigration crackdown is linked to broader shifts in the labor market and what it means for industries struggling with labor shortages. These insights could reshape the future of employment and immigration in Canada. If you find our content useful, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated on Canada's evolving immigration landscape. Let's jump right in. The central problem: rising numbers of unauthorized workers in Canada. As of October 2024, Canada is experiencing a growing issue with unauthorized workers within its borders. These individuals, often employed without valid work permits or those who have overstayed their visas, are creating significant disruptions in the labor market. The Canadian Border Services Agency has reported a sharp increase in unauthorized labor across various sectors. Industries such as agriculture, construction, hospitality, and caregiving, which depend heavily on both temporary foreign workers and permanent residents, are particularly affected. In recent months, the Canadian government has placed greater pressure on the Border Services Agency to address this problem. Reports estimate that more than 50,000 individuals may be working without legal status, contributing to labor market imbalances. The presence of unauthorized workers not only reduces employment opportunities for legal workers but also creates unfair competition for businesses that follow immigration laws. These workers often face exploitation, unsafe conditions, and violations of labor rights due to a lack of proper documentation and legal protections. To combat this issue, Canadian authorities have ramped up enforcement efforts against both workers and employers who break the law. Enforcement data from 2023 showed a 20% increase in actions against businesses employing unauthorized workers, a trend that has continued into 2024. This surge is largely driven by public concerns that the immigration system is losing control of who enters and remains in the country. Why this problem matters: impact on workers, industries, and society. The presence of unauthorized workers in Canada poses a variety of challenges. Nationally, the inability to control unauthorized labor undermines the integrity of Canada's immigration system. This leads to decreased public trust in the government's ability to fairly enforce its laws. Furthermore, unauthorized workers often draw on public services such as healthcare and social services without making equal contributions to the tax base, placing additional strain on these resources. Industries such as agriculture, which rely heavily on migrant labor, face a two-sided issue. While unauthorized workers may fill urgent labor needs during peak seasons, hiring them puts businesses at significant legal risk. Employers caught hiring unauthorized workers face penalties of up to $50,000 per violation and even potential criminal charges. These legal risks deter businesses from fully utilizing legal immigration programs, such as the Temporary Foreign Worker Program, which exists to address labor shortages. On an individual level, unauthorized workers are more vulnerable to exploitation, wage theft, and unsafe working conditions. Without the legal protections afforded to documented workers, they are at higher risk of abuse from employers. Additionally, their work environments often lack adequate health and safety standards, further endangering these workers. The influx of unauthorized workers also depresses wages in certain sectors. For Canadian citizens and permanent residents, this means less bargaining power and slower wage growth. Meanwhile, the pressure on housing and public services continues to intensify as more individuals live and work in the country without legal status. Urgency of the issue. Government response and public perception. The Canadian government is facing increasing pressure to enforce immigration laws and stabilize the labor market. Public sentiment has shifted significantly, with more than 60% of Canadians expressing concern that unauthorized workers are contributing to the employment crisis in the country. To address this, Canadian authorities have tasked the Border Services Agency with expanding its efforts to monitor unauthorized work. Recent reports show that more than 2,000 business raids have been conducted to target employers suspected of hiring unauthorized workers. These efforts have resulted in over 5,000 deportations in 2024 alone, a marked increase from previous years. Additionally, the Border Services Agency has launched public awareness campaigns to inform both employers and workers about the legal consequences of unauthorized employment. In conjunction with these enforcement actions, Employment and Social Development Canada has tightened its screening process for employers seeking to hire foreign workers. Stricter compliance checks are now in place, and repeat offenders who exploit unauthorized workers face harsher penalties. Solutions to address the problem. Tackling unauthorized employment. 1. Stricter enforcement and monitoring by the Border Services Agency. The first solution to unauthorized employment is increasing enforcement. The Border Services Agency has implemented new strategies, including the use of artificial intelligence to flag irregularities in work permits and visa statuses. These systems allow the agency to cross-reference employee data with immigration databases in real time, reducing the likelihood of unauthorized workers slipping through the cracks. Additionally, the agency has increased its on-site inspections, especially in high-risk industries like agriculture, construction, and hospitality. These inspections are often carried out without notice, ensuring that businesses remain compliant. The penalties for hiring unauthorized workers have been raised significantly, with offenders facing higher fines, legal action, and even criminal charges in severe cases. 2. Increased employer accountability and penalties. Employers are now being held to a much higher standard when hiring foreign workers. The Temporary Foreign Worker Program has introduced stricter requirements, mandating that employers prove they have made every effort to hire Canadian citizens or permanent residents before turning to foreign labor. Failing to do so can lead to suspension from the program. Repeat offenders face even steeper fines and risk losing access to labor programs entirely. This encourages businesses to follow legal processes and reduces the likelihood of illegal hiring practices. 3. Public awareness and education. Public education campaigns are another critical part of the solution. These initiatives are designed to help employers understand their responsibilities in verifying work permits while also educating foreign workers about their rights. The campaigns also provide a way for workers to report exploitation or uncertain visa status. Workers can access confidential support services through the Border Services Agency, which helps them resolve their status through legal channels. 4. Expanding legal pathways for foreign workers. Finally, immigration advocates are pushing for more legal pathways for foreign workers. Expanding programs like the Temporary Foreign Worker Program and the Provincial Nominee Program would allow more workers to enter Canada legally. These programs help address labor shortages without encouraging illegal employment. Advocates are also calling for special visas in high-demand sectors such as caregiving and agriculture. These visas would allow workers to legally enter Canada and provide pathways to permanent residency if they meet certain conditions. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. Now, let's focus on how these enforcement actions are connected to broader changes in Canada's labor market and how employers can adapt to these shifts. How Canada's immigration crackdown intersects with broader changes in the labor market. As the government ramps up its enforcement, many industries are left grappling with how to meet their labor demands while staying compliant with immigration laws. The ongoing labor shortages in agriculture, hospitality, and construction present significant challenges, particularly as businesses are held to higher standards. This shift emphasizes the growing need for innovative solutions, including the use of technology and automation, to reduce dependency on foreign labor. Employers must find ways to adapt while still staying competitive. Future steps. What employers and workers can do. For employers, navigating this new landscape requires strict compliance with immigration laws and creative labor solutions. To avoid legal risks, employers should 1. Use approved channels for foreign labor, such as the Temporary Foreign Worker Program or the Provincial Nominee Program. 2. Regularly review employee work permits to ensure compliance. 3. Invest in technology and automation where labor shortages are most severe to reduce dependency on temporary workers. For workers, especially those without legal status, it is vital to 1. Regularize your status through proper legal channels, such as visa extensions or applying for permanent residency. 2. Report unsafe work conditions or exploitation to labor rights organizations or government agencies. As we've discussed today, the Canadian government's increased enforcement actions are transforming the country's labor market. These efforts aim to restore the integrity of the immigration system and ensure fairness for both legal workers and compliant businesses. Understanding these changes, whether you're an employer or a worker, is key to navigating the evolving landscape. Staying compliant, using legal channels, and adapting to new labor market realities will be crucial as Canada continues to refine its immigration enforcement. Thanks for watching Canada Chronicles. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit. We're always keeping you updated on the latest immigration news, so don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay in the loop. Until next time, stay informed and stay compliant.